Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. I've just arrived in the system Nervi with my commander, Cobra Commander, and as you can see I've purchased a Cobra along with a nice new paint job for him. Now the idea is that I'm going to remain in this Cobra for as long as possible, possibly indefinitely on this particular series. Now Nervi is the centre for the latest community goal for the Rise to Power event, so I'm going to sign up on this. And the idea is that we've got to steal some technical blueprints from some couriers or for some convoy ships down in the Chronos system. At this point, it seems that EG pilots have got a pretty much unattainable lead on all the other player groups. So I guess it doesn't matter too much which group I sign up for, and I don't really want to support any one group individually. I do like pretty much all of them. But what I'm going to do is sign up for the one that has the least support, that has the least amount of technical blueprints delivered, so at least I can help out a little bit. Now en route to the Chronos system, I did need to outfit my ship a little bit better with the right modules and the right hardpoints needed for this particular job. Now I will admit that I did have quite some trouble finding the targets. What I was looking for initially here was the convoy unidentified signal sources, and I had to fly around the system for quite a while before any of them actually spawned. They do spawn as random or at random, although quite possibly in specific locations, but nonetheless I did have a bit of difficulty in finding them. Eventually I did find one though, and it just so happened to be a threat level 3. Not really the sort of thing you can take on in a Cobra on your own, unless I guess you're highly skilled or extremely lucky. And in a moment you'll see exactly why that is. The target here was a Type 9. I did consider actually attacking it because if it had the technical blueprints that would have been quite worthwhile. But with 2 Anacondas defending it, I think my chances are actually slim to none. It was very nice to see a convoy like this though, even though totally somewhat frustrating because after 20 to 30 minutes of searching, finding a target finally, that was pretty much unusable. There was no way I could attack this. Like I say, yeah, frustrating to say the least. But as with many things in Elite, there are alternative ways of doing things, and I'd missed the obvious. After asking about for a bit of help, people just said the simple answer: go to an nav beacon and target the convoy ships or the cargo ships, the trade ships there. So that's exactly what I decided to do. After leaving that signal source, having a bit of a fly around just to see if there was any more signal sources en route, just in case. The nav beacon was my next destination. Now there are various ways that you can do this. You can drop into the nav beacon and just keep shooting up the targets, shooting up the various trade ships, the Lacons, the Type 6s, the Type 7s, and the Type 9, I guess if you can see them, and see what they drop. The trouble is, if they are carrying the cargo, then more often than not, the cargo will get destroyed when their ship explodes. So there is another way of doing that. It's the typical pirate way, which of course makes sense seeing as we're going here to steal the cargo anyway. And for this you're going to need hatch breaker limpets as well as a cargo scanner. And if you've got the room, you can also bring along a collector limpet as well. I haven't got one of those myself. This ship is only small, so a limited room to fit the modules. The only problem really with coming to a nav beacon is that a lot of the other ships do like to try and steal your target. If you do finally find a target like this one here, I did the cargo scan of it, and you can see on the radar there that the other NPCs are just coming into view as well, and they start attacking it. Now this one did have the technical blueprints on board, you could see there in its cargo section. So what I needed to do is just wait for its shields to drop. I was hoping that the other NPCs here would do enough damage to it to drop its shields, but you can see they're more or less completely missing it, so I decided to go ahead and do the job myself. Fortunately for me, this particular target was fairly low ranked, so I knew it would have weak weapons, and even when it did turn its fire upon me after I dropped its shields, it was unlikely to do too much harm. And of course it was occupied by the other NPCs, so they did turn out to be a bit helpful in the end anyway. So with the shields down, I sent out a hatch breaker, you can see it going en route there, and just to keep myself a little bit protected, I deployed a little bit of chaff and put all power into my shields. Now the Dangerous Games have been quite an interesting event overall. A lot of competition, a lot of involvement from the community, both from the people inside the player groups as well as people coming along to help out as well. And if you do ever keep an eye on the Elite Dangerous forums, you'll see there's quite some extensive discussion going on it, including quite a lot of in-game political speak. At this point, it seems that EG Pilots are going to win the Dangerous games pretty much hands down. As of today at 1 PM UK time on Thursday, EG Pilots have 70,000 tonnes of cargo delivered, Galcop have 38,000 tonnes and SEP have 23,000 tonnes. And what that means is that EG Pilots can now only lose if they finish in 4th place in the 3rd and final community goal, and to be honest, I can't see that happening. But good for them, they've clearly put in a lot of work, got a lot of people and organised the whole event very, very well. As you can see then, I've just collected the first technical blueprint here. The Diamondback went ahead and dropped a whole load of them and is still completely occupied by the other NPCs around here, giving me time to go ahead and collect the other blueprints that it's actually dropped. Of course, the risk for me here now is that if I do get scanned by any of the other hostiles around here, chances are they'll then go and attack me because I'm now holding some cargo. This is an anarchy system, by the way, so you can engage any target you like without any consequence. Which is just as well because this little scout here has decided to try and nick my cargo. The race was on then to get to the next technical blueprint before he actually got there, but you can see that he's already lined up pretty well and is going to get it well before I get there. Fortunately for me, I've still got some hatch breakers left. Unfortunately for him, his shields are already down. So whilst he's got the cargo on board, that's just as well because he's not going to be holding it for very much longer. Now, as you can totally guess, there's going to be a lot of ships around here holding some other very valuable cargo. And as Commander Zillian pointed out to me yesterday on the forums, this makes for some wonderful targets of opportunity, because with the black markets here in this particular region of space, which is controlled by Archon, you can make quite a lot of money from the black markets. So as you can see, the hatchbreaker has now engaged the target and he has turned hostile to me. But that doesn't mean he's going to turn and start shooting at me. He completely leaves me alone and then proceeds to drop his cargo all over the place, meaning I can get back those blueprints. So ultimately, while the ships carrying blueprints don't spawn here all that often, this is a very reliable method of actually obtaining them when they do appear. And if you're fortunate and choose your targets wisely, you can even do this without actually destroying any targets. I'd like to thank Jane Turner from the Elite Dangerous forums, who actually gave me some help on this particular method of obtaining the blueprints, who in turn got the method from Commander Zidian. It turned what could have been a rather frustrating experience into a very enjoyable one. There's one more community goal left for the Rise to Power games, and that should be available more or less by the time you watch this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. So, a very different area of space to what you're used to if you don't come out this way. Now, I happen to be pretty much in the area, around about 4,000 light years or so away from this particular system, so I made the journey here. And I'm actually very glad to have done so.